This is why you should not play Ding Dong Ditch, and I learned it the hard way. Also, before I begin, just in case TikTok does shut down, make sure to follow my other socials, my Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube for more stories. So this story happened years ago, like when my mom actually allowed me to sleep over at my friend's house for the first time. But this is like one of those stories where once it happened, it stuck with me for the rest of my life. So us being kids at the time, Ding Dong Ditch was a game that literally everyone played. It was thrilling, and the fear of getting caught had our adrenaline pumping. So my friend at the time lived on a hill, and you already know climbing up a hill is treacherous, so keep that in mind. Because y'all, it's a crucial point of the story. Anyways, this particular night, we decided that we wanted to play during sundown. That being because it would make it harder for everyone to make out our faces if we ended up getting caught. So I'd say it's around 8 p.m., it's dark out, and the only lights on are the street lights. I remember my friend telling me that we should walk down a few blocks so we don't encounter his neighbors for obvious reasons. So we walk down to this one street and we get going. One house after the other, we knock, we ring the doorbell, and then we run. We run right to the bushes, and then we watch their reaction. So sometimes we would scream from the bushes, and it would scare the person into screaming back and then shutting the door. I honestly don't know how we found that fun, but listen, it was a time. Alright, it was a time. So anyways, we ended up walking further down the street, and my friend wanted to do it to 2 more houses before we headed back. There was the house to the right of us, and then he wanted to do it to the house that was 2 houses down to the left of us. So we started with the left house first and got that out the way. Then it was time for the last house. So we both walked up to the door, we banged on it, 1, 2, and then the third time the door opened by itself. It was almost as if we broke the door, but I swear to you, we did not break that door. So my friend and I, we look at each other, we both start laughing, and then I shut the door and I scream, sorry! You know, just so they know that, like, we're not trying to intrude. So at this point, we're tired and we start to walk back. And I swear to you, not even 10 steps later, we start to hear footsteps right behind us. So we both turn around and we get spooked by some big, tall man. So we, of course, go hi to this person that's walking right behind us because we just think that it's someone walking at night. We truly did not think anything of it until we looked at his face and saw that it looked very twisted. And what I mean by that is that he didn't look angry. It was more like a face where he was like, I want you to. Like, it was very weird if you know what I mean. So y'all, not even a second later, this man reveals to us that he's holding this hefty ass wrench. And tell me why he immediately throws it at us. So I'm gonna try to show y'all my scar. Listen, this happened years ago, so it like cleared up a little bit, but so before it used to be bigger, but it ended up hitting me and I was like bleeding out. I dodged it. I said, But anyways, after this happens, panic mode sets in for the both of us and we start running. And y'all, this guy is literally catching up with us. So right now we're close to my friend's house, which is up on that hill. And y'all, let me tell you right now, I was not fit for that at all. So we had 2 options, split up and go in opposite directions or risk it and run up that hill. Me personally, I went with the first option and my friend went with the second. So I make a right turn and I book it. I run between these 2 houses and then I ended up making my way to their backyard. And of course their backyard light turns on. So at this point I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm dead. You know what? I had fun, but it's time for me to go. Luckily though, well, not really luckily, he ended up following my friend up the hill because I noticed after a few seconds like he was not following my path. So I ended up walking up, I peeped my head from the side of the house, and I saw that he was standing at the top of the hill, the guy. Thank God my friend did not run directly into his house because then this guy would have known where he lived. My friend instead did exactly what I did when he ran up the hill and ran between 2 houses and then ended up running until he reached this tucked away park. So I'm looking at this guy on the top of the hill and he's up there still holding this wrench. He then turns around and runs back down the hill to wherever he came from because I guess he saw that we were gone. We were... you're not catching us. So after a while, I run up the hill and I start screaming for my friend. And as soon as he came back to where I was, we ran into that house. We locked the doors and we ended up telling his mom exactly what happened because at this point, I have a bloody arm. Fast forward the next day, his mom drove us down to the house with the door that opened on the 3rd bang just to see who owned it because if it was the guy that was chasing us, his mom was going to call the cops and that man was going to go to jail. But the owner of the house ended up being just some old man, so we have no idea where this guy came from. All I know is that guy is definitely still out there with his wrench, and I hope he has not used it on anyone.